Hello, this is Ian from Device42, and thank you for joining me today as we review some of the lifecycle capabilities that Device42 offers. Now, you'll want to have some existing devices in Device42, something that's discovered particularly, so that you'll have lots of information to work with, but you can also do this manually through the user interface. Here we are looking at a physical ESXi host, something that's been discovered with a lot of good data pulled in. I can start to see some of that standard inventory information, including resource and connectivity info. Next to that Properties tab, if I click on Lifecycle, I can see an Asset Lifecycle section here. And what this will do is let you track any lifecycle events for a device. So everything from purchasing to deployment, updates, patches, decommissioning, and everything in between, right? So what I'll do is if I hit the Edit button in the top right here, I can make changes as you would for any other section in Device42. And then if I scroll back down to the lifecycle section, I can see a little bit more of that information here. So it's going to be broken out into dates in chronological order here. If I want to make changes to any existing lifecycle events, I can do that. And if I want to add a new one, I click on Add here, give it the relevant timestamp, and then select an existing lifecycle event. But what I can also do is define my own lifecycle events, and this can be helpful from like an automation perspective and making changes just via this lifecycle event. So what I can do is I'll give it a name, and then I can start to add some additional actions that are applied when this event is attached to a new lifecycle event on a particular device. So if that can include things like clearing IPs or connectivity, changing the service level, removing devices from a rack, placing them in a storage room, things like that. So you can accomplish multiple steps via this one lifecycle event. This will also trigger an audit log event. So what you can then use there is use those audit log events via webhooks to potentially trigger external automation tools, something like Zapier, that could update a ticket for this machine as an example, so that your service ITSM teams are aware of when things are being patched or updated, decommissioned, whatever event is happening here. So once I've selected the event, I can associate it with an end user, not required, but if you want to keep it attached to somebody, someone that might be in charge or responsible for this machine or this asset, you can do that here. End users can be pulled in through a spreadsheet import, created manually through the UI, and they can also be pulled in via an Active or LDAP directory sync, and then you can attach them to your devices that way. And then on the right here are any additional notes that you might want to add. Scrolling down, there are a couple other features in the lifecycle section that can be particularly useful. There is a QR or barcode option offered by Device42. Now, these are maybe not your standard QR barcode options, that you can't scan existing or manufacturer QR or barcodes and then pull device data into Device42 that way. What these allow you to do is you can select a QR or barcode profile, but you'll need to create one first as well, which can be done from the device record itself. This defines what is attached to either the QR or the barcode. So what happens is the profile creates the stickers. The stickers get attached to the labels rather get attached to the devices, and then you can scan those labels with any kind of standard QR or barcode profiling app that you can get in the Apple iOS App Store or the Google Play Store. Further down, you can define what is included on the label and as part of the barcode. So things like text, if you want any text on the label at all, name, serial number, device model. You can include custom fields, as well as custom text for the label profile itself. So once you've defined a label and selected that, and then this is the base URL that the QR code or barcode label gets attached to. So it knows that when you scan that label, it will come to your Device42 instance, and then you can view this record in the field. So as an example, if someone is going to the data center, they want to find out what might be plugged into a particular switch or get details about a server that they're looking at, they can scan that barcode. It will pull up the mobile optimized view of this device record, and then they can get the data that they need or even make changes possibly as well. Lastly, at the bottom there is a purchase and support info section. Device42 does have a warranty sync discovery job currently offered for Dell, HP, IBM, Lenovo, and Meraki. And so what that does is Device42 will take the discovered serial numbers of your devices, ping them against the vendor's APIs, and then create a purchase order that can be found in the infrastructure section. And then it will attach this information to the device record as well. So I can see some of that data here, but if I click on the purchase order itself, I can see a little bit more detail. So I can start to attach things like the cost. Has the order been paid and completed? Is there a cost center I want to associate it with? And then it will also break out the line items line by line. So I can define contract or service types, see the start and end dates, see the objects that the purchase order is associated with, and then report on all of this. So if I want to create maybe a monthly or a quarterly report that shows me all of my end of life, end of support dates in the next 30 or 90 days, I can do that using this information here. And then of course there's a file attachment section here, so that if you want to update a PDF version of the invoice or the receipt, you can attach that for centralized purchase management as well. That is a brief overview of some of the lifecycle functionalities offered by Device42. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at support@device42.com, and we'll be happy to help. Thank you.